So, here's the real question. How do dentists like you, who aren't willing to let insurance dictate how you will run your practice, who want to create incredibly profitable practices without sacrificing your time or sanity, how do you create the strategies to ensure your practice not only survives, but thrives in the 21st century? That's the blaring question, and Dr. Steve Schlintz is here to provide the answers. Welcome to Dental Practice Freedom Radio.
This is Dr. Steve Schlintz, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dental Practice Freedom Radio. And I actually was going to record this episode outside. I was about 5 minutes in, and it was funny. I was joking that this is going to be my first outdoor episode ever. It was about 75 degrees outside here in Philly. Felt great, and I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot an episode outside with the mic. I'll get a little bit of background noise. Won't be an issue. Maybe occasional car honk, because we're about 20 minutes outside of downtown Philly. We'll get the occasional car honk and construction and leaf blower and stuff like that. But I kid you not, as soon as I started to record the episode, there was like a honking battle or something. These two cars were just honking at each other for like 40 minutes. So I said, well, this isn't going to work. So I went inside, and I'm actually indoors, and hopefully be able to get back outside because it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is May 2nd. We are almost 2 weeks in now to the lockdown, or 2 months into the lockdown, and everybody's struggling with the same things. When am I going to go back to my practice? What day is it? How do I get my kids through homeschooling? All those things, right? And those are still for real struggles. But what I wanted to do today is actually talk about what I learned from a comedian, Sebastian Maniscalco. So comedy is very subjective. It's one of those things. Some people love certain comedians and not others. Some people like sarcasm. Some people like dry humor. Some people like slapstick. It goes on and on and on. Well, Sebastian Maniscalco, if you haven't heard of him, I find him absolutely hilarious. He's got great mannerisms. Great delivery with his process. And so sometimes, people look at that and go, wow, he's just gifted. Now, here's the cool part, and this is why I think this is such a good episode. YouTube is an amazing thing. You can actually go back and find almost anything on YouTube now. And there was videos of Sebastian Maniscalco when he was probably really working on the comedy thing in 2011. Now, what's really interesting is between 2011 and now, he still has some of his jokes in his repertoire that are exactly the same. Comedians have jokes that they take with them and they practice and rehearse. What's really interesting is that he's been working on this one particular joke for probably 9 years, perfecting it. And you would think that it would be so repetitive that it actually would lose its humor over time. But what's really cool about this is as he's continued to perfect the joke now is so much more authentic and real than it was 9 years ago. And we look at that and we usually think the inverse, like if I was doing something the same over and over and over again, it would lose its authenticity over time. That's not true. It actually gains authenticity over time. And so most comedians that you see, they've rehearsed those drills and the comedy skits over and over and over again until they can do it in their sleep. Great speakers do the same thing. I've been blessed to be able to work with Bob Proctor now for a half decade, and he's got the same go-to stories over and over and over again. But what's interesting is he has perfected those stories to the point where they just naturally exude out of him. He's so confident in what it is he's talking about that people naturally follow him, no matter how many times he's done that same speech. There's power in that. And that comes over time. Great salespeople, for example, have something that they want to convey to their potential client, and they've gotten so good at it that by the time you talk to that salesperson, you go, oh my gosh, like this is unbelievable. As dentists, we need to do the same thing. This is why it's so important. When I work with clients, one of the first things I do with a client is I say, listen, like, where do you really want to go with your practice? So what do you want? What's important to you? How are you going to build a practice that fits your lifestyle? And what you really want to do, whether it's more dentistry, whether it's more case acceptance, whether it's more wellness-based dentistry, like, what is it? And I want you to fall in love with that message, because you're going to be conveying this to patients every day in every way. And one of my mentors, Mike Schuster, said he had quoted somebody else. I forgot where it came from. That's where most great quotes come from. You don't even remember who's saying it anymore. The more you tell somebody what you believe, the more you believe it. I've been Aristotle? I don't know. Aristotle or Einstein, right? Every quote goes to Aristotle or Einstein, or Marcus Aurelius, or Warren Buffett. Those are the four. But the reality is it's true. And so when you have patients that come in and you know, this is what I want to convey at my new patient experience. These are the things that I believe in and I want my patients to know. And I practice, drill, and rehearse those. Just like a skit, like a script, anything. You practice, drill, and rehearse. You practice, drill, and rehearse. I get all my clients to videotape their new patient process. I want you to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Because what happens is you become so much more authentic in your message because you really have practiced. It always amazes me, when you have new patients and maybe they're moving towards complete care, what are the objections they raise? Well, does my insurance cover that? Oh, I got to talk to my spouse. Ooh, that's a lot of money, doc. Right? It's like the same things over and over. But yet every time that you see that, if a doctor hasn't practiced those objections and being able to get around the objection, they'll do the same thing every time. Go, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, okay. If you knew that was coming every time, wouldn't you want to practice it over and over and over so it's just fluid and easy to exchange and go, oh my gosh, yeah, no, totally. I understand that you want to talk to your spouse, right? Maybe the way you handle that is even before you present care, you say, hey, your spouse really needs to be here. This is really important. This is a big decision for both you and your spouse. We'd love for both of you to be here when we talk finances and how to actually make this happen. Right? It's so pivotal that you keep practice, drilling, and rehearsing what it is you're trying to convey. You want to be Sebastian Maniscalco, working on the same thing over and over and over when nobody's looking. It's a very interesting story. I'm thinking a lot. I'm in the process right now of revamping my initial training for potential clients. And I'm in a closet right now because I did the opposite approach. Well, I don't want any noise, so I'm going to go in the closet. And it got me thinking about almost 4 years ago, somewhere in there, when I first started working with dental clients at this level with case acceptance. When I first recorded that video to start bringing in potential clients, I was in a closet, and I kept repeating over and over and over again, and I kept envisioning in my mind where I was going to be with clients. And here I am right now, 4 years later, in a closet doing the same thing, building a new training for clients, existing clients, potential new clients, and I get a message. 2 messages, actually. And one of the messages was that this client of mine is a dentist. He's done a couple things with me now. One is Dental Sales Secrets, my program to help dentists with case acceptance. And he said, Doc, you've introduced me to a whole new level of thinking. And you've completely changed my life. And 2 weeks after he signed up, that's when we went on shutdown, somewhere in there. But he's still seeing emergencies and stuff, and he had a patient that came in, and he's learning stuff from Dental Sales Secrets about mindset and self-image and how to actually control the sales environment, very important. And he said, I'm just taking bits and pieces of this, and it's actually, like, I made my investment back in one case. And I've never done this before. I looked at a patient and I presented, I think it was extractions and implants and stuff like that. And he said, and I did exactly what you told me to do. And it worked. And I've never had that happen in my practice before. And then the patient was thanking me after and said it was the best dental experience they've ever had. That is so powerful. Because right now, dentists need this more than ever. If you believe in what you're doing as a dentist, if you're a comprehensive dentist, you're a holistic, biologic, integrative, wellness-based dentist, and you're trying to do more comprehensive care, you're going to have two options going forward. One option is you just continue to buy into what everybody's telling you to believe, and that the world is going to, it's all going to go away and you're never going to be able to practice again. And you're going to have to just basically hang up shop because there's no point. Or two, you continue to create the practice you've always envisioned, and because you're so strong in your belief, there's going to be even more patients that need you now, because every other dentist that's trying to do what you do has already given up, because they're not the ones that are in the closet working on themselves, working on their game, working on their comedy script, right? Their skit, their lifeblood. I am honored to be able to work with the clients that I work with, the patients that I work with, because I know they're looking for the best. And that's not by accident, guys. It's because I've been sitting in this closet working on my game day in, day out for 5 years. Studying from the best, humbling myself to learn more and more skills, whether it comes to sales, marketing, how to present your message. And I can always get better. There's certain things that I don't do that I really want to work on in 2020. But what's crazy is I'm serving so many clients right now, and I have clients coming in that clients are always my primary concern, because if I can help you as a client get what you want, I'm going to get what I want. That's Zig Ziglar. So it's vital to know that wherever you're at, you start right now. Pick out what is your ideal dental, skit. Just like Sebastian Maniscalco has an ideal skit in comedy. And, the way the comedians do it, they actually introduce a joke, they judge response, and they figure out, was that joke worth it? And if it is, they go to the next one and they make a small tweak to it and say, did I get more or less engagement? Oop, gotta go. They literally, like in the marketing world, we call it split testing. You change little variations and you see, is it a better or worse response than previous? And then I make the adjustment and keep it, or I get rid of it, and then I try something new. And it's just this constant refinement process that leads to an absolutely lethal end result in a good way. DSS, Dental Sales Secrets, my program, that's what I do with Dental Sales Secrets on a continual basis. I continually try to refine my process for my clients. Let's see, did it make a better result or a worse result? If it made a better result, how do I keep that? And then I try another thing. And then I try another thing. And what happens is a program that 5 years ago had 6 hours of content now has over 60 hours of content. It has a group that's engaged. It's dynamic. It's the same type of dentists that are looking for similar results. It's unbelievable what refinement can do for you. And so I encourage you to start to think like the best comedians you've ever seen, the best speakers you've ever seen, the best dentists you've ever seen. You know that they continue the message. I'm on episode probably 135, 136. I've been doing this podcast for almost 2 years. And if you listen from message 1 to now, I've gotten significantly better in how I deliver it. But it's never deviated from wellness-based comprehensive care, smaller practices, more fulfillment, more profit, more enjoyment, more profound change for your patients. It's never gotten away from it. I didn't go one day and go, I think I'm starting a DSO. Never has happened. It never will happen, because I know what my belief is, my core values. And now I'm constantly refining my message. So hopefully you got value out of this. If you guys can leave me a review or rating, that'd be greatly appreciated. It allows me to get my podcast to more dentists that are looking for the message that you have heard today. And with that being said, you guys take care and have a good day.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Dental Practice Freedom Radio with Dr. Steve Schlintz. We'll see you on the next episode.